Hey everybody, Ruth aka Book Jedi aka I am a Artemis. Depending on where you see this, right? If you're watching this on YouTube, Book Jedi. If you're watching this on TikTok, I am a. So yeah, this is basically the review for The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I gave it 4 stars, and it's one of those situations where you know, I liked the book well enough for it to be a 4 star, and um, just my opinion. Obviously, um, we are introduced to Elliot and Lana. Elliot is a guy who dealt with a lot of shit growing up, but so did Lana. But then you realize Elliot was more damaged. Okay, I shouldn't. Wrong word. Elliot was not he was unable to not let his instability not win. That doesn't make sense. We are seeing a story play out where he's telling us how he made friends with this movie star, how he fell in love with her. At some point, she doesn't, it doesn't feel like she's having the same feelings he's having fast enough. Um, well, fast enough for him. And so he does everything within his power to try to win her over, stuff like that. But then as you're reading, you see that he has some form of narcissism, some form of idolation of grandeur on his part, making you wonder how stable he is. I say that because his actions. Excuse me. He is very manipulative, very. I don't see how she's not loving me back when the majority of the time he's manipulating her. He's trying to get her isolated from friends or family, and when friends and family tries to tell her, she doesn't want to see it. That's my best friend. He wouldn't harm me. Dude had ulterior motives. Kind of made me question the author's way of writing. I say that because, in the majority, if not all his books, the guys are, the supposed nice guys and then turn out to be toxic douchebags. And the women always suffering at the hands of these toxic jackasses. Them paying the ultimate price. They're like, if you've the Silent Patient has been out long enough for a lot of people to know what I'm talking about. This with the main female character, she gets pushed to the point of, something happens, and she ends up taking full grunt of punishment, even though she was driven there. Kind of the same thing with the meeting, and with this time with the Fury, it's the guy who's the problem, who ends up, the female character doesn't even stand a chance in this book. And I say that as in she had been manipulated by all the men in her fucking life. And I'm like, manipulated, hurt, belittled, with the exception of her son. Um, she's been betrayed by the majority of the men in her life, again, with the exception of her son. And she still ends up paying the ultimate price at the end. I'm not saying what that ultimate price is in case you want to pick it up. I'm not saying what that price is. But you can obviously tell by the tone that it's not good. At some points, I wanted to cry because of, what the guy was doing. It felt so harsh. Not harsh, just felt draining at some points. Was the book enjoyable? Yes. Was it worth the read? Yes. I can say yes. Honestly, it was. Um, but it did get me to want to cry a few times. I don't think that was the author's intention. Uh, Obviously, unless it's a drama to the point where the author's intentions are to make a reader cry, I don't think it was the author's intentions to make anybody cry. It just depends on who the reader is, and how to heart they take the majority of the story. So, it's not the author's job to lead you through your emotions while you read a book. It's not. Their job is to just write an entertaining story as best as they could. If the book gets good publicity, then yay for the author. This book was good. I can say it was good. I did just feel devastated with certain parts. But would I recommend it? If you're strong enough, yes. If you're brave enough, sure. Uh, the story follows, as I said, Elliot and Lana. Elliot was a trip. Elliot was a fucking trip. Like, I got whiplash. Not literally, but I got whiplash with his personalities. Because it was like, why, dude? You were such a good guy. Like, why did you have to end up doing such and this and that? Then I realized I was projecting. Like, I guess that's a sign of a good author when they actually can get you to question if you're still pro this character or pro that character. And then at the end, you're like, fuck that character. Keep the motherfucker off the bridge. All I know is that I did give it 4 stars, and I will be reading any book he comes out with. He is a very good author. I can give him that kind of credit. He is a very good author. I just a little bit torn about this book. Like, it is a good book. I'm not denying that, but I might be ending up in a semi-reading slump after this one. I have to figure out what I'm gonna read next. It might take a day or two, or I might be able to figure out what book I have that I might want to finish January off with. The Fury has been my 7th book of the year / month so far, so I'm hoping to at least get one more book read or at least one more audiobook listened to this month before January officially ends. Maybe one or two. I'm hoping for one more. So I might choose a lighter book or a thinner book for that matter. So I'm going to end this here and say ciao for now, people. And if you want to read it, yay.